Manifestation isn't a mystical power or a lucky accident, it's a science. A science that, when understood, can transform your reality. Let me be clear. Manifestation is not about luck, wishful thinking, or some vague mystical force. It's grounded in science. A science that, when understood, has the potential to transform your life in ways you never thought possible. And I'm not just talking about some far-fetched idea. This is rooted in the very principles that govern our universe. You see, science isn't just about formulas and equations. It's about the deep, underlying structure of reality itself. And guess what? You're part of that structure. Thoughts, your emotions, your very being, these are all part of the scientific equation that shapes the world around you. Now let's talk about the law of attraction, that mysterious force so many people are drawn to. Some dismiss it as just New Age nonsense, while others swear by it. But what if I told you that the law of attraction isn't just some fringe belief? It's a principle rooted in quantum physics, the very same field that Einstein, Heisenberg, and Planck explored. These weren't just dreamers or philosophers. These were some of the greatest minds of our time, pushing the boundaries of what we know about reality. They revealed to us that the universe is not a fixed, static place. It's a dynamic, ever-changing field of energy, one that responds to our thoughts and emotions. Let's take Einstein, for example. He's famous for the theory of relativity, but did you know he also said that imagination is more important than knowledge? He recognized that the mind plays a critical role in shaping our experience of the world. And then there's Heisenberg, whose uncertainty principle showed that we can't even measure a particle's position and momentum at the same time. This tells us that reality isn't as fixed as we think. It's fluid, malleable. This idea that we live in a universe governed by probabilities and possibilities is key to understanding the law of attraction. If particles themselves can behave differently depending on how they are observed, what does that say about the power of our thoughts? Could they be influencing reality in ways we are only beginning to understand? So how does this apply to our everyday lives? Let's bring it back to something more familiar: light and sound. These are things we experience all the time without even thinking about them. But here's something that might surprise you. Both light and sound are made of waves and frequencies. But, and here's the mind-blowing part, we can only perceive a tiny fraction of them. Imagine you're at a concert. Music is loud, the lights are bright, and you're having a great time. Now imagine that suddenly you can only hear the drummer. The guitar, the bass, the vocals, they're gone. All you hear is the steady thump of the drums. You look around and all you can see is a single spotlight on stage. The rest of the concert is happening, but you're missing it because you're only experiencing a small part of the show. That's what's happening to us every day. We're tuned in to just a fraction of the reality around us because our senses can only pick up so much. The same goes for our thoughts and emotions. What if they were like the radio dials in that concert? If you're tuned to the wrong station, all you're going to hear is static, frustration, and noise. But if you could tune it into the right frequency, you'd hear the full harmony of your desired reality. Think about it. Just as you can't see the full spectrum of light or hear the full range of sound, maybe you're only accessing a small portion of the frequencies that govern your life. So, the real question becomes, what else is out there, waiting for us to tap into? Alright, I get it. This might sound a bit like we're diving into the realm of superhero powers or some kind of alternate reality from a sci-fi movie. But stick with me, because this is where it gets really interesting. What if our thoughts and emotions worked the same way as those light waves and sound frequencies? What if, by shifting our internal frequency, we could actually tune into a different reality? Sounds a bit wild, right? But let's pause for a second. Have you ever had that weird, unexplainable gut feeling? Maybe about a job, a person, or a decision that turned out to be spot on? You didn't have any logical reason for it, but somehow you just knew what was going to happen. That wasn't luck, and it wasn't some magical power. What if that gut feeling was your mind tapping into a hidden frequency, one that's just out of reach of your everyday senses? Imagine if you could harness that ability. What would that mean for your life? And here's the kicker. You already have that power. It's not something you need to learn or acquire. It's something you just need to tune into. Our thoughts, our emotions, they aren't just abstract concepts. They're frequencies, waves of energy. And just like a radio, you have the ability to change the station. You can move from a life of static and frustration to one of harmony and fulfillment by simply tuning in to the right frequency. But how does this all work in practice? How can you start aligning your internal frequency with the life you want to live? That's exactly what we're going to explore next. You are the radio, and your emotions are the frequencies. Let's dive deeper into the mechanics of how you can start tuning in to your ideal reality. Here's the truth. Manifestation isn't about magic or wishful thinking. It's about tuning into the right frequency. Let's clear up one of the biggest misconceptions right off the bat. Manifestation is not just about sitting around and thinking positive thoughts, hoping that the universe will drop your desires into your lap. You've probably heard people say things like, just think positive, and the universe will deliver. But here's the truth. It's more than that. Much more. Positive thinking is important, sure, but it's just the tip of the iceberg. So why does it sometimes feel like no matter how much you try to think positively, you're still stuck in the same place? Like you're tuned to the wrong channel, and everything you want is happening somewhere else? Let me tell you why. It's because you haven't tuned into the right frequency yet. It's not enough to just think. You have to align your entire being, your emotions, your energy, with that frequency. This is where quantum physics comes in to save the day. Yes, the same science that explains how particles behave also governs your thoughts and emotions. You see, the universe operates on a level of energy and frequency, and every thought you have, every feeling you experience, is sending out a signal. When your thoughts and emotions are in sync with the reality you want to manifest, that's when the magic, or rather, the science, really starts to happen. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine you're in a room filled with hundreds of radios, each one tuned to a different station. Some of those stations are broadcasting your dream job, some are playing the soundtrack to that perfect relationship you've always wanted, and others are tuned to a life filled with abundance and success. But there are also stations playing static, frustration, doubt, and fear. Now, the big question is, which station are you tuned into? Our emotions are like those radio dials. When you feel good, when you're in a state of joy, love, and gratitude, you're tuning in to the station that's playing your dreams. But when you're feeling negative, when doubt creeps in, when fear takes over, you're stuck on the wrong channel. It's like driving through a tunnel when your favorite song is playing, and suddenly all you hear is that annoying buzzing noise instead of the music you were enjoying. Frustrating, right? That's exactly what happens with manifestation. If your emotional frequency is off, you're going to get static instead of clarity. But when you can dial in to the right emotional frequency, the universe starts broadcasting the life you want, loud and clear. So the real trick here isn't just to think about what you want, to feel as if you already have it, because when your emotions are in alignment with your desires, you're tuned into the right station. And that's when things start to change. So, how do we start tuning in to the right station? It's not just about wishful thinking. One powerful way to align yourself with the frequency of your desires is through scripting. Think about it like this. When you watch a really great TV show or movie, there's a moment where you get so absorbed in the story that you forget everything else around you. You're no longer just watching. You're in it. You feel the emotions of the characters. You start to care about the outcome as if it's happening to you. Scripting works the same way. When you write down your goals or dreams, as if they've already happened, you start to feel the emotions that come with that reality. It's not just about putting words on paper. It's about creating a mental and emotional experience that aligns you with your desired outcome. The more vivid you can make this script, the more you'll believe it's possible, and the more your emotions will start to match that reality. It's like rewriting the soundtrack of your life, making sure it plays the right notes. Have you ever noticed how when you really believe in something, when you feel it in your bones, you start to act differently? You walk with more confidence, your decisions are bolder, and you seem to attract opportunities that bring you closer to your goals. That's because your belief shifts your emotional frequency. and suddenly you're tuned into the right station. But, and here's the kicker, there's one more key ingredient. You need to truly align with your desires. And it's something that most people overlook. Curious about what it is? Hang tight, because that's what makes everything click into place. Here's the secret no one tells you. Sometimes you have to let go to get what you want. It sounds counterintuitive, right? We're often taught that in order to achieve something, we need to focus intensely on it, hold on tightly, and never let go until we reach our goal. But here's the truth. Detachment is the key that unlocks manifestation. I know it feels strange to hear, but it's one of the most powerful and overlooked aspects of bringing your desires into reality. Why? Because when you cling to your desires too tightly, you're actually broadcasting the frequency of lack. You're telling the universe, I don't have this, and I need it desperately. And guess what? That keeps you stuck on the same old channel, the one where you're constantly reaching but never quite getting there. It's as if by holding on too tightly, you're reinforcing the very reality you're trying to escape. You're tuned into the wrong station, the one that's all static and frustration. Think of it like this. Imagine you're holding onto a rope, pulling with all your strength. You're so focused on not letting go, on pulling as hard as you can, that you don't realize something important. The rope is tied to a post behind you. You're not going anywhere. All that effort, all that struggle is keeping you stuck in one place. Now what if you just let go? When you let go, you free yourself. You give the universe the space to move things for you, pull you towards the life you want. Detachment doesn't mean you stop wanting what you desire. It simply means you trust the process enough to loosen your grip and allow the flow of energy to take over. The minute you release that tension, you create room for possibilities. The universe can only fill a hand that's open, not one that's clenched in desperation. And let's not forget one crucial thing. When you see someone else living the life you want, having the success, the love, or the abundance you dream of, don't get discouraged. Instead of feeling jealous or thinking, why them and not me? Here's a new perspective. Think of them as a human radio, just tuned to a different frequency. They're not better than you. They've just aligned with a different channel. So how can you get on that same wavelength? You've already got the tools. Scripting, visualization, and most importantly, detachment. Use them to tune your internal radio to the station that's broadcasting your dream life. And remember, every time you see someone who has what you want, take it as a sign from the universe that it's possible for you too. Their success is proof that the frequency exists. It's out there, waiting for you to tune into it. So here's the question you need to ask yourself. What station will you tune into today? The one that's stuck playing your old story, or the one that's broadcasting the life you've always dreamed of? The choice is yours. And the best part? You already have everything you need to change the station. Think about it. And if this resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe. Together, we'll keep exploring how to create the life you've always wanted. With that said, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.